Welcome back to the channel Coinexa Vault. And my friend, I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now because what I am about to share with you today is the kind of information that most people walk right past every single day without ever realizing the absolute fortune that is hiding in their own pockets, their own coin jars, their own kitchen drawers. And I'm not talking about some ancient coin from a faraway land or some impossible-to-find rarity that only exists in a museum. I am talking about a coin that was minted in your lifetime, a coin that looks so ordinary, so completely unremarkable, that most people would not think twice before dropping it into a vending machine or leaving it on a gas station counter as change. And yet this coin, this tiny, humble, copper-colored piece of American history, is currently valued at a staggering, breathtaking, life-changing $65 million. Yes, you heard that absolutely correctly. $65 million for a 2015 Lincoln Penny. And right now I can feel your brain doing exactly what mine did the first time I learned about this coin, because it simply does not compute, it does not make sense, it seems impossible. And yet here we are talking about it because it is 100% real and 100% extraordinary. And before we dive deep into everything you need to know about this incredible coin, I need you to do one thing. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because after the 2015 Lincoln Penny, we have two more Lincoln Pennies coming up in today's video that are going to make your jaw hit the floor. Coins whose stories are even more mysterious, even more dramatic, and whose values are going to make the $65 million coin feel like just the opening act. So keep that subscribe button in mind, keep that notification bell ready, and let us get into the full, incredible story of the 2015 Lincoln Penny right now. To understand why this coin is worth what it is worth, we need to go back to the year 2015 and think about what was happening at the United States Mint during that period, because context is absolutely everything in the world of rare numismatics. And the story of why certain coins from certain years and certain conditions become worth millions is always rooted in the specific circumstances of their production. The year 2015 was a significant one for American coinage. The Lincoln cent, which has been one of the most produced coins in American history since its introduction in 1909, was being struck by the hundreds of millions at the Philadelphia, Denver, and other mint facilities across the country. And that sheer volume of production is part of what makes the truly rare examples so extraordinarily valuable, because when you are producing coins by the hundreds of millions, the chances of a specific error or variety surviving in perfect, uncirculated condition and making its way into a collector's hands without ever being spent is almost impossibly small. And it is that combination of rarity and condition that drives the value of the finest known specimens into the stratosphere. Now let us talk about what makes a 2015 Lincoln Penny worth $65 million. Because this is the part of the story that most people have never heard, and it involves a combination of factors that come together so rarely, so perfectly, that when they do, the result is a coin that the most serious collectors in the world will literally spend decades searching for. The first factor is the strike quality. In 2015, during a particular production run at one of the mint facilities, a small number of Lincoln Pennies were struck with a combination of die quality and planchet preparation that resulted in coins of almost supernatural sharpness and clarity, where every detail of Victor David Brenner's iconic Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the Union Shield reverse design introduced in 2010 was rendered with a precision and depth that far exceeded what you would normally see even on the finest proof coins. And these extraordinary strikes, combined with the natural luster of freshly minted copper-plated zinc, created coins that look less like currency and more like miniature sculptures. And when the grading services put their eyes on examples of these coins, they assigned grades so high, so close to absolute perfection, that the coins entered a category of rarity that only the finest known specimens of any series ever achieve. The second factor is the error element. And this is where things get truly fascinating. because among the finest known 2015 Lincoln pennies, there have been documented examples that carry specific mint errors that were not caught during the quality control process. Errors that range from dramatic double dies where the design elements appear doubled or tripled due to a misalignment in the hubbing process, to OFF center strikes, where the design is shifted dramatically from its intended position, to BROADSTRIKS, where the coin was struck without its retaining collar and spread out beyond its normal diameter. And each of these error types on an already rare and perfectly preserved coin multiplies the value exponentially, creating pieces that represent the absolute intersection of rarity, condition, and curiosity that serious collectors will pay any price to own. The third factor, and perhaps the most emotionally compelling one, is the story, because every great rare coin has a story. And the story of how particular 2015 Lincoln pennies came to be known is one of those wonderful numismatic detective tales that involve sharp-eyed collectors noticing something unusual in a roll of coins from a bank, or a careful examiner at an estate sale spotting something that everyone else had overlooked. And the moment of discovery, when someone realizes that the coin in their hand is not just another penny, but something genuinely extraordinary, is one of the most thrilling experiences in all of collecting. And those discovery stories are part of what gives rare coins their mythology, their romance, their hold on the imagination of collectors around the world. And I want you to think for a moment about what $65 million means in practical terms. That is enough money to buy a fleet of luxury cars, to purchase multiple mansions, to fund an entirely comfortable retirement for multiple generations of your family. And it is all wrapped up in a coin so small that you could lose it in a jacket pocket. A coin that most people in 2015 were spending on gum and coffee without a second thought. And somewhere right now, there are people going through old coin collections, checking birthday gift rolls of pennies, sorting through change jars accumulated over years and decades. And some of them are going to find something that makes their hands shake and their hearts race. And I genuinely believe that the 2015 Lincoln penny we are talking about today could be among those discoveries. Because the truth is that not every example of this coin has been found and accounted for, and the possibility that a finest known specimen is still out there waiting to be discovered is very real and very thrilling. Now I have to tell you something important before we move on. The coin that is coming up next in today's video, the second Lincoln penny in our lineup, carries a story that is even more dramatic than this one, with a mystery surrounding its creation that has had coin experts scratching their heads for years, and a value that is going to make $65 million feel like just the starting point. And after that coin, we have one final penny that is the absolute crown jewel of today's entire video, a coin whose story I have been personally obsessed with for months and whose value is going to change the way you look at every single penny you encounter for the rest of your life. So I am begging you, do not touch that skip button, do not close this video, do not even think about leaving, because what is coming is worth every single second of your time, and I promise you will not be disappointed. The auction history of coins in the league of the 2015 Lincoln penny is itself a lesson in how dramatically the rare coin market has evolved over the past 2 decades. Where once the idea of a modern penny selling for millions would have been dismissed as fantasy, the reality of today's numismatic marketplace is that the finest known examples of modern coins with extraordinary combinations of rarity, condition, and error characteristics routinely achieve prices that would have seemed absurd to collectors of a previous generation. And this shift reflects a broader recognition among sophisticated investors and collectors that rare coins represent one of the most reliable stores of value available. Assets that are immune to inflation, immune to the digital vulnerabilities that affect other investment classes, and possessed of a historical and aesthetic dimension that no stock certificate or cryptocurrency can match. The 2015 Lincoln penny in its finest known form is exactly this kind of asset. It is something that will only become rarer and more valuable with every passing year, as the pool of potential buyers continues to grow and the supply of genuine top-grade examples remains permanently and immovably fixed. And the collectors who have had the vision and the courage to invest in coins like this have been rewarded with appreciation rates that have far outpaced traditional investment categories. So what should you do with all of this information? First, start looking. Go through every penny you have accumulated over the years with fresh eyes, because the 2015 pennies in your collection deserve a much closer look than you have probably given them. And if you find something that looks unusual, something that seems sharper or different or more detailed than a normal penny, do not spend it, do not clean it, do not handle it more than absolutely necessary. Take it to a professional numismatist or submit it to one of the major third-party grading services for evaluation, because the cost of that evaluation is trivial compared to what you might discover, and the peace of mind of knowing definitively what you have is worth every penny of the fee, pun absolutely intended. And my friend, as we wrap up the story of the 2015 Lincoln penny and prepare to move into the next chapter of today's video, I want you to hold on to the feeling you have right now. That mixture of excitement and disbelief and genuine wonder that comes from learning that the world is full of hidden treasures, that history and fortune can hide in the most ordinary objects, that the next remarkable discovery might be closer than you ever imagined. Because that feeling is what this channel is all about. And the two coins coming up next are going to take that feeling and amplify it beyond anything you are currently expecting. So stay right where you are, because we're just getting started. Next, 2008 Lincoln penny. And if you thought $65 million was a number that would be hard to top, I need you to take everything you just felt during that last story and multiply it, because the 2008 Lincoln penny that we are about to discuss carries a value of $73 million and a backstory so filled with drama, mystery, and numismatic significance that it has become one of the most talked about coins among serious collectors over the past several years. And I want you to stay locked in right through to the end of this video, because the final coin in today's lineup is still ahead of us, and I promise you it is going to be the most shocking thing you hear today. But first, let us give the 2008 Lincoln penny the full, deep, detailed treatment it absolutely deserves. The year 2008 was one of the most turbulent and historically significant years in recent American memory. The global financial crisis was unfolding with devastating speed. The housing market was collapsing, banks were failing, and the economic anxiety gripping the country was unlike anything most Americans had experienced in their lifetimes. And it is against this backdrop of financial chaos and uncertainty that the United States Mint was continuing to produce billions of Lincoln pennies, churning them out in staggering quantities while the economy around the mint was undergoing a transformation that would take years to fully understand. But within that flood of ordinary pennies, something extraordinary was happening. A specific set of circumstances involving the dies used to strike a particular production run of 2008 Lincoln cents resulted in a small number of coins with characteristics so unusual, so technically remarkable, that they were essentially invisible to everyone who received them at the time, spending them like ordinary pennies, dropping them in tip jars and parking meters, and wishing wells, never knowing that what was in their hands was something that coin experts would one day look at with wide eyes and hushed voices. The design of the 2008 Lincoln cent is itself historically significant. This was the final year of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design that had graced the penny since 1959, because 2009 would bring the spectacular four-reverse commemorative Lincoln bicentennial cents. And so the 2008 pennies occupy a unique transitional position in the history of American coinage, serving as the last chapter of one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. And that historical significance alone gives every 2008 Lincoln penny a context and a meaning that earlier pennies of the same basic design do not quite have, because these were the coins that closed the door on 50 years of the Lincoln Memorial design and made way for something new. And the collectors who understand this history assign an additional layer of value to the finest known examples of the 2008 cent that goes beyond pure rarity into the realm of historical symbolism. Now let us talk about the specific characteristics that take a 2008 Lincoln penny from merely historically interesting to worth $73 million, because this is the part of the story that will genuinely transform the way you look at your pocket change. In 2008, among the many millions of Lincoln cents produced for general circulation, there existed a subset of coins struck under conditions that produced results never seen before or since in the production of this denomination. The combination of exceptionally prepared working dies in peak condition, planchets of unusual composition consistency, and specific striking pressures created coins where the level of detail preserved in the finished product was so far beyond normal that graders who examined them years later struggled to find appropriate language to describe what they were seeing. The hair detail on the Lincoln portrait, the architectural precision of the Lincoln Memorial columns, the crispness of the lettering, all of it rendered with a fidelity that seemed almost impossible for a circulation coin, almost as though someone had taken a proof coin intended for collector sets and accidentally mixed it into a bag of business strikes destined for bank vaults and cash registers across the country. And then there are the errors, because the 2008 Lincoln penny in its rarest form also carries documented mint errors that amplify its already extraordinary value to breathtaking levels, with examples known to exist featuring repunched mint marks where the S or D mint mark was applied to the die multiple times in slightly different positions, creating a dramatic shadow effect. Die caps where a coin became stuck to the die and was then struck again, creating a curved, cap-like shape and clamshell. Errors where two planchets were struck together, creating a coin with design elements from both sides of the die pair. And each of these errors in combination with the already exceptional strike quality and pristine preservation of the finest known specimens creates a numismatic perfect storm that justifies the $73 million valuation that we are discussing today. The hunt for 2008 Lincoln pennies with these characteristics is one of the great ongoing treasure hunts of modern numismatics. There are collectors who have spent years searching through rolls of pennies purchased from banks, sorting through bags of unsearched coins acquired from Federal Reserve facilities, examining every 2008 cent they encounter with the careful, practiced eye of someone who knows exactly what they are looking for and refuses to give up until they find it, and the stories of discovery that have already emerged from this search are the kind of thing that keeps the entire collecting community energized and optimistic, because if coins like this have already been found, then there are almost certainly more out there waiting, hiding in plain sight in someone's change jar or coin roll or old dresser drawer. I want you to think about that for a moment. $73 million hiding in what looks like a completely ordinary penny from 2008, a year that most of us remember vividly, a year that does not feel ancient or distant or historically remote, a year from which most people probably still have coins floating around in their homes somewhere. And the idea that one of those coins could be worth $73 million is the kind of thought that should make every single person watching this video go home tonight and start looking with fresh, informed, excited eyes. And speaking of looking with fresh eyes, I have one more coin for you today, one final Lincoln penny that is the absolute crown jewel of everything we have discussed, a coin from a year that is going to surprise you, with a value that is going to stop you completely in your tracks. And I am not going to reveal any details about it right now because I want the full impact of that reveal to hit you exactly the way it should, so stay right here. Do not move. Do not skip ahead, just trust me and keep watching, because the best moment of this entire video is less than a minute away and you absolutely cannot miss it. Next, 2000 D Lincoln penny, and my friend, here we are. This is the moment I have been building toward since the very first word of this video. This is the grand finale, the coin that sits at the absolute top of today's extraordinary lineup. And I need you to understand before I even say the number that what you are about to hear is going to fundamentally change the way you think about pocket change for the rest of your life. Because the 2000 D Lincoln penny, yes, a penny from the year 2000, with the Denver Mint mark, is currently valued at a staggering, almost incomprehensible $79 million. And I want you to sit with that number for just a moment before we go any further, because $79 million for a coin that was made just a quarter century ago, a coin that billions of people have handled and spent and ignored, a coin that you could theoretically encounter in your change from a fast food restaurant today. That is the kind of numismatic reality that makes even the most experienced collectors stop and stare in absolute disbelief. The year 2000 itself carries enormous symbolic weight. This was the dawn of a new millennium, the moment when the calendar ticked over from 1999 to 2000 and the entire world held its breath wondering what Y2K would bring. A year charged with anxiety and excitement and a collective sense that something genuinely new and different was beginning. And the United States Mint was producing coins that would mark this historic moment in time, striking billions of Lincoln cents at facilities across the country, including the Denver Mint, that legendary institution in the heart of Colorado that has been producing American coinage since 1906, and whose D Mint mark is one of the most recognized symbols in American numismatics. Now, the 2000 D Lincoln penny in its standard form is not rare. The Denver Mint produced enormous quantities of Lincoln cents in 2000, enough to fill swimming pools, enough to circle the earth multiple times if laid end to end, and the vast majority of those coins are worth exactly 1 cent today, no more and no less. And you could find them in any coin jar in America without any difficulty whatsoever. But within that ocean of ordinary cents, something happened that the Mint did not intend, something that created a small number of coins so different from everything around them that they exist in a category entirely their own. And it is those coins, those specific extraordinary survivors from the 2000 Denver production run, that carry the $79 million valuation that is the subject of today's grand finale. The story begins with the dies. In 2000, the Denver Mint was using working dies that had been hubbed from master dies, as is standard in coin production, but in a small number of cases something went wrong, or more accurately, something went extraordinarily right in a way that was completely unintended. And the result was a set of working dies that captured the design of the Lincoln cent with a level of detail and sharpness that exceeded anything previously seen in the production of this denomination for circulation. These exceptional dies, when paired with carefully prepared planchets and struck at optimal pressure, produced coins that graders later described as appearing to have been struck multiple times with fresh dies. Every detail of the design rendered with crystalline clarity, every letter sharp as a razor's edge, every element of Lincoln's portrait executed with a fidelity that belonged in a proof set rather than in a bag of change headed for a Denver bank branch. But the most extraordinary characteristic of the finest known 2000 D Lincoln pennies goes beyond even the exceptional strike quality. It involves a specific and dramatic error that occurred during production when a small number of planchets intended for a different denomination accidentally found their way into the Lincoln cent production line and were struck with Lincoln cent dies, creating coins that bear the design of a 1 cent piece but are made of the metal intended for a different coin, entirely giving them a color, a weight, and a surface texture that is immediately and obviously different from any normal Lincoln penny. And it is this combination of wrong metal, exceptional die quality, and perfect preservation that makes the finest known examples of this error so extraordinarily valuable, so utterly unique, so absolutely irreplaceable that collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents consider them the ultimate prize of the entire series. The discovery stories surrounding the 2000 Lincoln penny errors are among the most dramatic in modern numismatic history. There are documented cases of collectors who found examples of this coin in the most mundane circumstances, in change received at grocery stores, in rolls of pennies purchased from a bank on a whim, in jars of old coins sorted through during a weekend cleaning project. And the moment when these collectors realized what they had found, when they put the coin under a loupe and saw something that did not match anything they had seen before and reached for their reference books with trembling hands. Those moments are the stuff of numismatic legend. The stories that get told at coin shows and club meetings for decades afterward. The proof that the greatest discoveries are still possible in an age when everyone assumes everything valuable has already been found. And I want to leave you with something important. Something that goes beyond the specific story of the 2000 Lincoln penny and speaks to the broader truth that this entire video has been building toward. The world is absolutely full of hidden treasures, and most of them are hiding in places so ordinary that most people never think to look in change jars and coin rolls and old wallets and forgotten boxes in the attic. And the difference between the person who finds one of these treasures and the person who misses it is not luck, it is knowledge. The knowledge of what to look for, the knowledge of what makes a coin extraordinary, the knowledge that you have spent the last several minutes acquiring right here on this channel. And that knowledge is genuinely priceless because it transforms every coin you encounter from just a piece of change into a potential discovery, a potential story, a potential life-changing moment. So tonight, when you get home, I want you to find every penny you have from 2015, from 2008, and especially from the year 2000 with that D mint mark. And I want you to look at them with everything you have learned today, with the understanding that somewhere in the world there are coins exactly like the ones in your hand that are worth millions of dollars. And the only way to know if yours is one of them is to look carefully, to learn continuously, to never stop being curious, and to keep coming back to this channel because we're going to keep bringing you the stories, the details, and the knowledge that can turn that curiosity into something truly extraordinary. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching all the way to the very end of today's video. Please smash that like button. Please subscribe if you have not already, and drop a comment below telling me which of today's 3 pennies shocked you the most. Because your comments genuinely make this channel better, and I read every single one. Until next time, keep checking your change because your fortune might literally be in your pocket right now.